Fuck, sorry. There we go. You doing the intro? Everyone likes
Welcome to the podcast. As always, I am your host, Sammy Boy. Feel free to call me Dad. Feel free to call me Daddy, Poppy, whatever you want. I'm here about my banana boat cousin right here, from the same coconut tree as I am, just a different shade.
Black, bro.
Some call him Platanos Más Duros. I call him my brother, Jose the Platano Guerrero. Introduce yourself, brother.
I don't like introducing myself. I just like going.
You like going?
I just like going for it.
You have to start with pleasantries. We have to start with pleasantries.
Okay.
But we don't talk. We probably talk like once a week when we record.
Oh, I don't know, bro. It's you know what it is? Is that every single time we get on, everything that happens just disappears. It's like so much stuff happens.
Audio's out.
My audio's out.
Yo, oh shit, was it my headphones that just went out? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me from the headset or from the...
I think it's from the headphones because there's no echo.
For some reason. No. Hello?
Yo, I hear you fine now.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, anyways, I don't know. Just things happen during the week. And I'm like, this would be nice to talk about. And then when time comes, I'm like, I forget it. I'll talk about it next week.
What happened?
Nothing really. Well, something happened is going to be the first topic of the day.
Okay, let's hear it.
It was extremely interesting. So first of all, I want you to read this. I'm asking 2 questions, just in case I'm bugging.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to read this. Okay, let me share my screen. You do this shit. Okay, so you can read it. Go ahead. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Oh man, we're gonna talk about this.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it because I need to say something.
She's gonna end up looking at the whole thing and then leaving a comment or whatever.
Whatever, man. Like
I'll read it. If you have a cock involved and identify as a woman, then I should be able to identify as vaccinated with no questions, right? Or is there something I'm missing? Or is it one of those what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander type of deals? What do y'all think?
Okay, so the reason I brought that up is I want to ask you 2 questions. One,
Am I blocking the camera? I am blocking the camera.
do you see that comparison that he's trying to make? Do you understand it? It's a clear comparison.
No, I understand the comparison, yeah.
Okay. Can you understand? Okay, so you understand the comparison. Now, the second question was going to be, can you understand how some people could see that as a joke? Or the joke that I made was, I identify as vaccinated. Can you understand that joke?
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're going.
The reason I say that is because a lot of people hit me up and they were like, it's not funny. I don't get the joke. There's no joke, and you cannot make a comparison to those group of people because they have suffered so much. So my point was, 1, I think personally that any group of people in the US, anyone, is up for jokes. All right? You can get jokes. Mm-hmm. Dave Chappelle has proved that multiple times that you can make jokes about him. Interesting enough, yeah. I brought it up and I was like, look at Dave Chappelle. And he was like, yeah, but Dave Chappelle, like, those were soft jokes. I'm like, they were trying to cancel Dave Chappelle for like weeks because of those jokes that he said.
Yeah, but he had 2 or 3 specials that tried to cancel him, but didn't work.
Yeah, because you cannot say anything about the alphabet people. You cannot make fun of them. And another group was like, well, you cannot make fun of them. That's basically what I said. And I'm like, no, you can. No one in America is safe from jokes. As long as there's a limit to it, of course. Okay, I didn't say those people need to go into a mental institute. I didn't go over the board. I just said I identify as vaccinated, and there's a clear reason to why that is funny, because they can identify as whatever they want. But I was told that I cannot make fun of them because they struggle a lot. I was told that the people that identify as whatever they want, whenever they want, those are not true LGBT trans people by that dumbass that, I didn't really have a conversation with. She was just writing paragraphs, and I was like, okay, this bitch is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you continue. I'll let you do your thing. Get your shit off.
That's my main point. One, it's a fair comparison. The comparison doesn't always have to
All
be
right.
1-to-1.
I feel like so we can get this conversation moving in the right direction, right? What do you feel like? Because it seemed that she was trying to express that there's a difference between sex and gender. Now, what do you think about that? What do you think about
Gender.
the idea that there's a difference between gender and sex?
Well, her point was this.
And is it that important?
Well, the point that was trying to make, it was that gender and sex were different because gender is male and female, but sex is man-made, is human-made.
No, sex is male and female, and gender is man-made.
Well, I mean, she said sexist, and she was like citing information like, see, sexist is human-made, man-made, and you're ignorant.
Well, sex is a man-made. Animals have sex, so.
I mean, I don't know, sex. That was her whole argument. She was like, sex is a man-made. Anyways, is it that big of a deal to me personally? I mean, you can identify as whatever you want. My whole thing is that you can make jokes about it, because just like Dave Chappelle said, it's a pretty funny thing if you're a black man and you're stuck in a Chinese body. He made a joke about it. It's just a funny thing. My problem is,
I think that's a pretty funny joke. If you're a black man stuck in a Chinese body,
it's fucked up. But again, it's funny. Now, listen, comedy's subjective, right? I mean, there's some things that you may find funny that I may not find funny.
it's just going crazy back there.
I'm just gonna hear that shit.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do something. Suppress. There we go. Better?
Kind of. I still hear it a little bit, but
Let me see. Okay. Go ahead. So that's the most I can suppress it.
okay.
But yeah, that's my main point. Just like you said, I mean, I kind of forgot what we were talking about, but you can it's not that important to me. You can identify as whatever you want, but that group is not safe from any jokes. You can't make jokes of them. You want to be equal. You want to be like everybody else. You want to be treated like everybody else. It's a joke, and it's a pretty obvious joke. I didn't went over the line. What the fuck is the problem? I have this she's fucking 2 years fucking bisexual, and she's the president of the trannies. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, I'm not gonna make any comments on her specifically,
Just saying shit.
But I will say that it seemed like, because you sent me the DMs, and it seemed like, her point was the difference between whatever, and then she used grievances as a crutch for why you can't make certain jokes, and that's the thing about jokes, is that not everyone's gonna find everything funny. And as someone that's making a joke, you personally, sometimes you shouldn't care if people like the jokes or not.
I don't know.
Especially,
I didn't care.
especially with someone that's so sensitive like that about everything, about every single issue in the world, like,
Because the one thing I said was, sexist and gender, like that's not what I was.
What I don't like sometimes. Not that I don't like, and I don't want to put this. I don't want to put this on her per se. What I don't like is that certain groups of people want to pretend like there's only one. Certain groups of people pretend like there's only that group deals with grievances, right? Like deals with grievances at all, and it's like we make fun of people crossing. We make fun of people crossing borders. We make fun of people like eating chicken. Like that's all they want to eat is chicken. We make fun of people of all walks of life.
Exactly.
Right. And I feel like when people start trying to police jokes and what you can and what you cannot say, what they want to do is I can make whatever jokes I want about anybody else, but you can't, because that offends me.
Yeah.
And for the most part, me personally, I don't give a fuck. You've seen the DMs I've gotten.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't even fucking put those shits out anymore. Like you've seen the DMs I've gotten, and the way I respond to people is like is very, like I respond in a way that I know they can't respond back. I have a clear direction of how I want to bring things. Now with Listen, man, I know a lot of people. One of I want to say our best friends, but one of our closest friends when we used to work with is gay as shit.
Yeah.
Paul is like the Superman of gays. Like the Superman, like his gay call, like he's super gay, right? Like
Yeah.
he calls his ass his back pussy.
They never heard that.
And the entire time I knew him was make fun of how gay he was.
Uh-huh.
Like, bro, you like the whole game, like, yo, you Superman of gays. I got that from making fun of him. He enjoyed those jokes. Right now, there were other girls there, there was females there that weren't even gay.
Mhm.
They weren't even gay getting offended on his behalf.
Yeah.
And it's like, certain people can't take jokes. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you not being able to take jokes. But if you think you're gonna police what the fuck I say, if you think that I'm gonna bend to your will and try to educate me on a joke, eat a dick. Like, it is what it is. Like I'm not really gonna, whatever. That's just the way I roll with that.
No, but I'm 100% agree with you. My whole thing was not about defending the genders and having a whole argument with the whole gender. My whole thing was one, I made a joke, not him. I'm the one making fun of you. I said that. I'm the one making fun of you. Well, not you, but those people. And two, I see there's a fair comparison.
And it's not even making fun of those people. I want to clarify that. You're not making a joke at someone's expense. You're using a scenario that's becoming more and more widely accepted as a lifeline joke. You're taking a string of a truth that exists and using that as the premise of a joke. But the joke has a grain of truth in it, which a lot of people might feel like, well, this is acceptable. If people can just say I'm Zim ZG, whatever, and royalty, whatever, I can't just say I'm vaccinated.
And
that's a good premise for a joke. Like, why can't I?
Yeah, I mean that's comedy, isn't it? Comedy is taking something true or close to the truth and making light of it. Just Dave Chappelle was a master at it. And that's why I keep bringing him up. But that's basically my whole thing that I wanted to say. Is just like there's a comparison that he's making, but you hear him saying, "Well, you cannot make that comparison because those people are suffering, and you cannot say that." I'm like, what? No, I don't care. They're the most protected group in America. That's something that I've said before, and I'll say it again. And I can defend that they're the most protected group in America.
Huh? I don't believe that.
Oh, you, for example, I'm gonna give you.
I believe every group in America is pretty much protected equally.
Okay, I can hear that, but I'm gonna say that that level of protection is out of this world. This is why. You remember that?
Let me hear an example.
You remember that Wii Spot situation that we covered? We didn't really cover it. I told you about it, and you were like, "Let's move on," because we already know our thoughts. It's basically where a man walked into a spa, said, "I am a woman." He walked into the girls section, showed his privates in front of all the girls, even little girls. And when the females complained, "Hey, there's a man in our location where the girls are at, where even little girls are at," they said, "No, they're protected by the law. He can do that because he identifies as a female. So we are allowed to do that." Not only that, the media only reported one side, the side of the transgender. There was a whole march of people marching and protesting, saying, "How could that lady complain about that trans man identify as what he wanted to be?" Whatever.
Here's a counter argument to that, right? And though I see where you're going with it, and this is where I become boring, Sam. Where I have to. I'm not a lawyer, but I would assume legally that business is forced to follow a set of laws that would not discriminate. But that same set of laws is the reason why me and you or people that look like us or blacks or whatever were able to go inside certain restaurants at a certain time. So those protections existed before this movement.
Agreed.
And since those protections exist, certain people are going to act a certain type of way at certain areas. Had that been public, had that person had done it in a public area, they'll be a registered sex offender. But the issue is they did it in a private setting and when I mean private, I mean like it's owned. The business
The
is owned by
location.
certain people.
Yeah. It's a
Yes.
spot.
So legally, they could not tell that person no. Because if they were to tell that person no, that's a lawsuit right there, and then they go out of business. So it's so we can say that the law, and I mean the law in terms of protection works the way it's designed to work.
Mhm.
But all we can say is that with anything, like there's always a way to game a system, and some people will game the system, and they will try to get someone to do something to them so that they can sue. In New York, we have a thing where we cross the street, we dare a car to hit us because you hit me, I'm taking all your fucking money. That's a thing.
Yeah. Isn't it illegal to
So,
jaywalk though? I heard
yeah,
that.
but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
illegal to jaywalk, but we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I dare you to hit me with the car. The first rule is pedestrians first. Always, there's always pedestrians first. So,
I agree. I agree with your point, and you make a fair point. My only issue with that is that is, from my perspective, is an abuse of the law because you are identifying as someone else and putting other people at risk, aka the kids and the girls that are there, by exposing those girls to something that they were not expecting, the male, parts. So
yeah, so all they can do, and I mean, only thing I can imagine that businesses could do legally and not be taken, not be sued to death is create a facility where there's biological male, biological female, and anything outside of that box where you're going with gender instead of gender, let's use sex. And if the person identifies as something else, they can have a whole area for people that identifies those things.
yeah, I can see that.
I think that's fair. You could probably get more employees there too. People that are familiar with that kind of territory or like that kind of lifestyle, and they could be masseuse to whatever.
Yeah. So
Right? Or you hide behind religion. That's the only two ways I can see getting around that. Is that you add a policy, you add a new area, boom, or you hide behind religion. And if they try to sue you, you counter sue them and fucking sue them into the dirt. And if that counter suit doesn't go through, you sue America, and you're gonna win. Because with the protection laws that you have with free reign of religion, they can't counter that. So even though you can lose a suit against the people that sued you, you can sue America, and America win a suit because you could prove that what they allowed to happen is against your religion, and that'll be fine.
that'll be it. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be my last point, and then we can move on to the next topic real quick.
Yeah.
It is related to it. My other point is back when COVID started, there was this group. I believe it was the Jews that you told me that were under attack. There was a group that you told me was under attack.
Yeah, it was
That's not Jews.
it was the it was Jewish people. It was Jewish. Yeah, but I forgot it's something before the Jewish. I can't remember the word right now.
I the word is escaping me, but I think Jewish is the only closest thing. So that's why I said what I said. But basically, what I was trying to say is that one, the Jews were even under attack when the riots happened.
They still are.
Okay, they still are. Hispanic people during the riots were called racist because they were defending their businesses. Asian people were actually called racist because they were defending their businesses. If you want to say black people are also under attack, then white people, you can make fun of them left and right. But if you dare say the LGBTQR community, if you add an extra letter in there, nah, man, you're a transphobe or whatever the hell she was calling me, all that type of shit. It's like, that part is allowed to make fun of me or call me names. It doesn't bother me. I'm bringing up the hypocrisy. That's what I'm trying to say. You do all this stuff and it's okay and defended by other people. But if I were to say that about another group, it would probably fly. Specifically the Jews. You look at the comment section of some of those videos that I saw, we're getting trashed left and right by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my point. That's why I think they're well protected. They don't need protection. They make it seem like she was making it seem like they were so like oppressed and like they're always getting attacked. And it's like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? I say anything to you and I'm fucking getting attacked by, what are you talking about? So that is my point.
But the thing with that is, I feel like the thing with that is, with the attacking and whatnot, people just, people are sensitive to certain topics, and everyone wants to be an expert at everything. And, sometimes it's good to not take certain things seriously,
I
right?
know.
We have for example, we had the person's name was Imani, correct?
Imani. Who's mine?
At what's it called, fucking Sweet Greens, the we had a transgender
Oh,
person.
yeah.
That
Okay,
was the name. That was the name, correct?
like close to it. I think maybe it wasn't, but I know it's like it rhymed with Mani. That's what I remember.
Okay, I'm going with Imani, right? Because that's what I remember, right? And Imani would get offended because I would call Imani by the name Imani.
Yeah.
Because with me, how you identify and how I view you is always going to be messed up. So instead of me fucking up and embarrassing myself or getting you offended, I just went with Imani. What's your name? Okay, I'll just use your name. And remember, me and Imani had an issue, or Imani and I had an issue for the longest time for whatever reason. And I never said anything wrong. I thought I was being pretty respectful the entire time. But the fact that I would not bend or cave in a way that Imani would feel, I didn't allow what Imani viewed Imani's self as to overpower who I am. I met a nice middle ground. I'll just call you Imani. That's your name? That's how you introduce me? That's how you introduce yourself to me as?
Yeah.
Fine, no problem. I don't give a fuck. Right? You do you. I'm not gonna be out here. This person's really this, or this person's really this. But also, I'm not gonna be in a weird state where I have to. Oh shit! I might mess up. Oh shit! I messed up. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna make myself uncomfortable to make you comfortable. That's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And what's gonna make us both uncomfortable is if I fuck up. So instead of fucking up, I'm gonna quit by your fucking name.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for some reason, that became an issue as well.
Because he wanted you to, or he or she, I don't know. Anyway, I'm already confused. That person wanted you to call them the proper pronoun. You didn't want to.
Yeah, that's not that I didn't want to. Visually, in my head, I didn't make the connection.
Gotcha.
So, and since I did not make the connection, even though Imani seemed to be trying to be viewed a certain type of way, my brain's eye connection visually could not make the connection. So instead of forcing myself to view the world in a different way that I've never viewed it before, because I knew I was not going to change my view of the world. I knew I wasn't going to change 25 years of viewing things just because one person wanted me to do that. I knew I was going to do it. So I figured, you know what, instead of doing that, there's a nice middle ground. Tell me your name. I'll speak to you respectfully. You can speak to me respectfully, and we can just go by that. But off of that alone, like every time Imani would work, because she was a supervisor at the time. Oh fuck, see. And whenever Imani would work, Imani, since I did not bend, would try to make me do certain activities at work that no one else would do. And I noticed it. And I asked Imani, what's up with that? And Imani would just tell me, oh no, you just come off as very machismo, like you don't treat me like the other people treat me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you're not doing this. I'm like, well, I'm being respectful. I'm not being disrespectful, am I? No, you're not. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Yeah. That's your problem. At the end of the day, it's not my problem.
Yeah. I mean, the way things are headed, I mean, that's what they want.